world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Okay, so, if you're wondering, this video is being filmed Tuesday, March 30th, but it is, by the time you're watching this, it is Friday, April 2nd, so, yeah. So, today, we're reviewing the next DreamWorks film in my series, Journey to Spirit Untamed, which is Rise of the Guardians. But here's how the series works. If you're new to this channel, if you're new to this series, here's how the series works. Basically, I'm gonna review the films that, some of the films that I have seen that came before this film, and life works differently because I don't technically watch stuff in order back then. So I'm gonna review and here it's actually interesting about that because I actually have 5 movies to review. And then I'm gonna review the movie, talk about the good, the bad, give you my score, and then I'm gonna rank all of the DreamWorks films. I'm gonna rank all of the movies up to the film I'm talking about, if that makes sense to you. But before we get into that, we gotta talk about a specific movie that came out after Monsters vs. Aliens, and that was How to Train Your Dragon. Now, last week, I had a choice to watch one movie that I would be able to review the entire week, and I chose Saw because the only reason why I chose Saw was it was free, and I really wanted to watch How to Train Your Dragon because, I would not choose Saw. I would choose How to Train Your Dragon because that is the definitive choice of a movie that you should watch, especially for this series, because it's known to be the best DreamWorks film of all time. And I'm sorry, but hopefully one day I will watch it. I'm very sorry, but I did not watch it yet. I'm very, very sorry. With that said, let's get started talking about these 5 movies before we get right into Rise of the Guardians. Now, Shrek Forever After, I actually thought was a very good addition to the Shrek franchise. I definitely think it's on the lower half of the Shrek films, because we actually have another Shrek film to talk about in this list. But I actually thought this was another great addition to the Shrek franchise. I just thought Rumpelstiltskin was a great addition to the series. I thought that the way they handled the music, the animation, some of the characters I thought was really cool. However, it does have some issues here and there. Especially when it comes to Fat Puss in Boots, but other than that, this is still a very good film, and to be honest, I don't really hate any of the Shrek films, to be honest with you. Now, Megamind I thought was actually a pretty good superhero film. I thought that the soundtrack was fantastic. Will Ferrell as this very evil villain where he wants things a certain way. You can actually get it once he kills Metro Man. He feels alone because he doesn't have a bad guy. He's kind of annoyed that he's not getting stopped by a superhero. It makes sense. And then he creates this whole villain. It does a lot of clever things, and there's characters in this movie that you actually care about, and also the voice cast is really good, so it takes a bunch of things I really like, and it kind of puts it all together. So I do really like this movie, but it's not the best of DreamWorks by far. It's not, but it's still a really good film. Now, Kung Fu Panda 2, coming off of the original Kung Fu Panda, I love this movie. This is just probably one of the best DreamWorks films I've personally ever seen. And the reason for that is because they took everything you loved about the original Kung Fu Panda and just made it better. Whether you're talking about the action, the characters, the villain, the story, they introduced a lot more. They introduced a couple more characters, and especially when you get introduced to Bo's backstory, and you start to get introduced to his family, his past. It's very interesting, and I like how the Furious 5 aren't really looking down on him anymore. They're looking up to him. and they're his friends, they're his team. And like the relationship between Poe and Tigress, I thought was actually really cool. And really the theme about inner peace was just fantastic. Well, actually, I kind of like the Chi plotline in Kung Fu Panda 3 a whole lot more. But the way they used the inner peace plotline, I thought worked really nicely. And so, it takes a lot of things I loved about the original and just makes it all the way better. Now, Puss in Boots is actually a film that I have a lot of nostalgia for. Because when I was in elementary school, they used to have this harvest festival where it's basically we used to dress up in costumes, and I actually dressed up as Puss in Boots at the party. I used to dress up as characters that they didn't have costumes for back in the day, but that's just how I was. But yeah, I really like Puss in Boots, even though I have grown to like it. I thought this was a really good film. The sort of music vibe to it, as this is in the world of Shrek, it does the fairy tale stuff with Humpty Dumpty and Jack and Jill. It does like the fairy tale characters really well. It also does a lot with the sort of dance fights and stuff. Antonio Banderas is fantastic as Puss in Boots. He's a very good actor. And really just the whole voice cast is great. So, and of course the action is also fantastic. And really the relationship between Puss and Humpty Dumpty is really cool, where they started off as friends, became enemies, and then ended off as friends in the end. So, it is actually a pretty cool, satisfying conclusion to their story. Final film we're talking about is Madagascar 3 Escape to Africa. I mean, Europe's Most Wanted, sorry. I always get those titles mixed up because they sound the same. Sorry about that. But yeah, I really like Madagascar 3 Europe's Most Wanted. I thought that there was a lot of action sequences with Dupois and all the henchmen that was going on. It was all crafted in a way like there's literally a monkey shooting bananas at Dupois, or like there's a lot of stunts and shots in this film that just are fantastic to me, and I really like the action sequences in this film, and also the way the characters go I thought were really good. The way they continued the story of them, it really works, and also the new characters of the circus is also pretty cool. I also really like the Tiger's character arc really well, and the animation of the circus is absolutely fantastic. So it takes a lot of stuff I really like about the Madagascar franchise. It makes it a lot better. Granted, I like the second one a whole lot more though. And it doesn't really make sense because it just seems so silly from them bringing the Madagascar to Africa to Europe. It doesn't really make sense of why they can just go back to the zoo. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. But now let's start talking about Rise of the Guardians. So for me, I think the best thing about this movie is that the voice cast is on point. The big standouts here are probably Alec Baldwin as I believe Santa Claus, Hugh Jackman as the Easter Bunny, and Chris Pine as Jack Frost. All of them really were the standouts of the film, and I really enjoyed them when they were on screen, and they just had such a great chemistry with one another, and I really liked that. Also, you gotta talk about some of the animation within it. Like, it's not like the best DreamWorks animation like they've ever done, but as in this film, when they're telling like the story of the Guardians and stuff, the world looks exciting with the animation style, and it looks pretty cool. And also, I thought that also another standout of the voice cast is Jude Law as the Boogeyman. I thought he played a really good role as the boogeyman. He fits the character that he's playing, and it works really nicely. And it does a kind of a clever job of telling the rise of what the Guardians are. And because I never really knew what this movie was about, where they had Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and I was like, oh, the Guardians, the people that put eggs in your house, the people that deliver presents to you at night, the person that puts money under your pillow when you leave them your teeth. I don't even know what the Sandman does. So yeah, it makes sense. It takes a pretty clever twist of adding Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, the Sandman, as their actual guardians. So it actually did a pretty clever job with that sort of story, and I actually really like that. Now, let's move on to the bad. Now, for me, when it comes to the bad, I'm not saying that there's like specific things I hate about this movie. There's just not a lot of things I love about this film. I think when it really comes down to it, it really just has to do with the stuff with, because it's like they literally just take this story out and like act like you know all these characters. Like they don't really explain the story of what's happening. There's a couple plot lines that just do not make sense to me, and granted, we all know the boogeyman's bad, but there's not really any motivation of why he is bad, and that kind of dropped me out of the film. And then this film feel like that this film satisfied me, and I don't think that the way, like, it really jumps from plot line, from scene to scene to scene, and I don't really think that worked, and it kind of messed up the whole film a little bit for me. So while there were some characters I did like, some animation stuff I liked, and some clever twists I liked, the story, however, and scenes and jumping from scene to scene to scene just did not work for me. So it was a bit disappointing for me, but I still enjoyed it. So before I give you my score, be sure to tell me down below, what did you guys think about Rise of the Guardians? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you right there in between like I am? And are you guys going to be seeing it this weekend and joining me into this adventure leading up to Spirit Untamed? I want to know your thoughts down below. Now, let's get on to those scores. Alright, so that is it for my Rise of the Guardians review. But we're not done yet. We gotta make sure, where does it land in my DreamWorks ranking up to this point in time as I'm reviewing Rise of the Guardians. So, here it is, my ranking. Alright, so that is it for my Rise of the Guardians review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram name is Marvel6. My TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my About section so you can understand those names and follow me on those social medias. And I also got Letterboxd now, so if you want to follow me, just copy down my name of Instagram. It's the same thing, Marvel6. So yeah, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.